May the 4th be with you and happy Star Wars Day. What a great way to celebrate Star Wars fandom with an amazing finale for Maul Shadow Lord. I don't think the finale disappointed at all. It was amazing. Not all happy things, a lot of sad things. But with a show that kind of has a dark vibe like Maul Shadow Lord, I don't think you can necessarily expect a happy ending for a season finale. I'm super happy though we're getting a season 2 because I'm very excited to see where this story goes. But amazing finale to this first season. So much action, so much stuff happened in this. But before I get started, if you haven't watched episode 9 and 10 yet, please go watch those and then come back and watch this because this review will include spoilers. And with that warning out of the way, let's get started talking about Chapter 9 and 10 of Maul Shadow Lord. So with Chapter 9, Strange Allies, and Chapter 10, The Dark Lord, we got some major moments, some amazing fight scenes, some amazing lightsaber duels, and hugely impactful character deaths, multiple, some really major character development, some people going to the dark side, some people making sacrifices for good. So much was packed into these 2 episodes. Honestly, it was kind of amazing. Actually, after I watched them, I went back and looked at the runtime. I was kind of surprised as they were short as they were because it felt like so much stuff happened. It felt like it was a full hour of content instead of about 45 minutes or so. So again, as I've been doing with this series, instead of trying to break them down individually, I'm going to kind of talk about the big things that happened over this 2-episode arc. Of course, we do get started with Dryden Voss, and we find out immediately what's going on there, which I'm kind of glad we did. So we were able to focus more on, I would say, the escape temp for the group we've been following, and also the battle for Devon Saul. And did it have as much like what is Dryden Voss and Crimson Dawn up to, hanging over this entire 2-episode arc? We kind of get this answer right away. Dryden calls in via hologram to talk to Maul, and basically we find out at this point Dryden is actually not the leader of Crimson Dawn yet. He seems like he's the number 2, and he actually is aware of the situation Maul's in. I think a lot of people, including me, were kind of suspecting that maybe Dryden thought Maul had more power than he did. He'd heard what had happened to Pikes, and basically was trying to suck up to Maul before Maul came and killed him as well. But instead, Dryden is very much aware that Maul is kind of stuck on Janix and experiencing a lot of Imperial trouble at the moment. But Dryden wants to be in charge of Crimson Dawn, and he thinks he can use Maul to kind of kill off his superior. So in exchange, he will help Maul escape from Janix. And so that sets in motion all the events of Chapter 9 and 10. And so I thought that was really well done. Another thing we get very quickly in this episode, Maul basically gives Devon a vision, and this is partly because Maul and his crew can't really figure out how to get out of the city to get to the meetup with Dryden Voss, but Maul very wisely thinks, hey, we know Lawson. I bet you Lawson might know a way to sneak out of the city, and how can I get in touch with Lawson? Through Devon. And I can be able to give a force vision to Devon, and I think her master Doki realizes later, hey, y'all have developed a really strong connection. What happened for him to be able to do that? And it shows you how much Maul has connected with her so far. But the vision does work. They meet up, and we begin our escape attempt out of Janix. I will say I really enjoyed the Inquisitors and this season. So much in the past, the Inquisitors, the bulk of them weren't the most skilled and stuff, and once they became up against a really talented force user, they were quickly dispatched. In some cases, they just didn't really seem to be the best investigators and stuff like this. But in this part of the timeline, I guess maybe you could say the Inquisitors are at their peak. The 2 we're dealing with really know what they're doing. They're really good at detecting, figuring out where our group is going. They're very skilled fighters. They're able to hold their own pretty well against our 2 Jedi and Maul, but we basically begin the chase. And the first big fight before even the Inquisitors show up is with some stormtroopers and a walker, and what Maul did in that confrontation was so amazing. I think that's another thing he did to kind of chip away at Devon, because I think Devon has been around her master for a while, who's obviously struggling with injuries, I think also old age. And then she sees Maul in all his glory basically easily destroy a walker. And you almost see like the awe in her eyes, like, oh, I had no idea that was possible. It was a very cool fight scene. I think another chip away at Devin kind of leaning towards Maul a little bit. But then we get the amazing fight scene underground in this cavern with a huge pool of acid, a lot of stakes here. Again, the lightsaber duel between all our Force users is absolutely amazing. I think everybody was probably guessing we'd see some deaths in this finale. I wasn't know if I was expecting this many this quickly, but we quickly began losing members of Maul's crew that we've become attached to, especially Spybot. I was kind of expecting Spybot to make it to season 2. Sadly, he did not. Spybot quickly became a fan favorite, even though he is a bad guy. I think he became one of those bad guys I think all Star Wars fans quickly loved. I thought it would have been a nice touch to see him in a second season, but I definitely see why he had to go. And during the course of this battle, the majority of Maul's, I guess you at this point say former crew, is actually killed. Most of the Mandalorians that have been following him. You also have the amazing moment with Icarus, with basically he begins to be wounded. I think he realizes, like, I'm not going to make it, but I'm going to sacrifice myself and take out as many stormtroopers as possible to help Maul. So that was really an amazing moment. You have Doki and Maul, kind of working together to make the escape, and working really well together, and which makes what happens later in this episode arc even more, I guess you'd say, painful and impactful. But then you have that amazing moment within two Inquisitors let the Stormtrooper know, let him know they're headed his way. And you go, ooh, is this who we think it is? And sure enough it is. We get the amazing reveal that Vader is here. We lose Rook Cask, and the other Mandalorian is her. And basically that's the end of Maul's old crew. It's now just Maul by himself. And all the people are more on the good side. Doki, Devin, Lawson, Raleigh, Two Boots. All of Maul's old crew is gone. So everything I want to focus a lot on what obviously is going on with Vader, Maul, Devin, Doki here. Obviously a couple things. One, I found it very interesting that Maul seemingly has no clue who Vader is at this point, which was a kind of an unanswered question. We could get that, but Maul does not know who Vader is. He quickly begins to realize, as he sees how powerful Vader is, I should say, that he's like, "You're no Inquisitor." He never says it, but I think he realizes pretty quickly on, and after that, like, this must be Sidious's new apprentice. What kind of surprised me is, we had the big moment earlier in this season where Maul's like, I can never let Sidious do this again. I can never let him, do what he did to me to somebody else. So I was expecting during this confrontation between Maul and Vader that Maul would be, dropping some dialogue, Sidious is going to betray you just like he did me. It's only a matter of time, side with me and we can both take out Sidious and end this cycle of him destroying people's lives. But instead, it's never really brought up. Maul never really tries to bring Vader to his sides. I don't know if he just senses so much power that he almost feels like, this person's more powerful than I am, so he's not going to be my apprentice. So that's a lost cause. And I think Maul is just not interested in any relationship where he is not the most powerful person. But at the same time, I'm still kind of a little surprised he didn't try to chip away with him. I think the other interesting thing with this is that Vader does not say a single word in his appearance. So, Vader is very much just portrayed as this, this killing machine. Not interested in talking, not interested in debate. He is just there to kill these Force users. So pretty quickly on, Devin kind of is split off, and she's more fighting the Inquisitors. Doki and Maul are kind of working together to fight Vader, but as it goes on, I think it becomes clearer and clearer that, he is way above our capability. And I think Maul is actually, maybe one of the first times we've ever seen this give, I cannot beat this person. And then the moment, which is so heartbreaking, because Doki had been doing so much to like help Maul during this confrontation. There's various points where Doki and Devon could have abandoned Maul and used him to escape. Instead, they'd stayed by his side. Doki had stayed by his side, even though he had all these doubts about Maul. And then Maul force pushes him into Vader to basically go, all right, you keep Vader busy. I know you can't fight him one-on-one. I'm getting away. And you even see the look on Doki's face where he kind of knows what is happening. He's like, all right, I'm going to die now. And this is the moment like everybody was expecting. Like everybody was expecting to happen early in the season. But Doki dying, I don't know if we expected it to happen at the hands of Vader instead of Maul. But this is really what triggers Devon to the avalanche happens. She goes fully to the dark side. She gives into her hate. She gives into her desire for revenge. And it quickly overtakes her. She's able to quickly overpower the Inquisitor she's fighting. We have one more confrontation with Vader. And Maul actually has to stop her from going after Vader and basically tells her, you're not powerful enough, but I will train you. Everything with Maul and Devon was fascinating. And, she fully gave herself over to the dark side. So very intrigued to see where that goes in season 2 and if Devon's able to work her way back to the light side. Hopefully so, but it'll be very interesting to see how that goes. Want to touch on the other side of the storyline with Lawson and Riley and Two Boots and their attempt to basically get to Dryden Voss's ship, and they get split up, and it quickly becomes apparent they're not all going to be able to escape. And for a little bit, I was very, very nervous that Two Boots was going to die. Just the rate of characters that were dying, I was like, oh, is basically everybody not going to make it except a couple people. But Two Boots and Riley are able to kind of get to safety because of the sacrifice of Lawson. And Lawson makes Two Boots promise to reunite Riley with his mom. The one thing I'll say is we did not really see Lawson die. We see him wounded several times. We see him go off into the fog. I think it'd be safe to assume he did die, but like Star Wars, if you didn't see it happen, did it happen? It would not shock me at the start of season 2 if we find Lawson in Imperial captivity and they're trying to use him to track down this crew. He very well might have died. The important thing is Riley thinks he died. Devon thinks he's died. Two Boots thinks he's died. I think how they're acting will very much we'll see that in season 2. And if anything, I hope Riley actually has a role, maybe trying to bring Devon back to the light side and help her fight against the dark side. But an amazing finale to an amazing season. They really knocked the ball out of the park with Maul Shadow Lord. Found it so fascinating, so entertaining, so moving, and really kept me guessing a lot. There's a lot of things that surprised me about what happened in the show that I would never thought of going into the first episode. So really enjoyed season 1, and I'm very excited to see what they do with season 2. So in the comment section below, let me know, what did you think of Maul Shadow Lord? Were you happy with the finale, or did it leave you frustrated? If you've been liking my reviews for this series, please hit the like button. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you the next time, and may the Force be with you.